So the expectations are really high. Coming from last year, I didn't know what to expect, and now there's a standard. Coming in every day and just bringing energy and working hard.
A Chicago Sky reporter insulted Angel Reese, and you won't believe what transpires next. Women's basketball has long served as a platform for intense competition, fearless personalities, and life-changing events that have an impact well beyond the court. However, few events in recent history have generated as much discussion or controversy as the public revelation of Angel Reese's role as a key player in the WNBA's explosive growth.
Angel Reese kind of things online during interviews.
The Chicago Sky star, who is renowned for her unwavering resiliency and unrepentant bluster, was at the epicenter of a tempest that revealed the discrepancy between her stated influence and the harsh facts of the statistics. Additionally, a dramatic change in her role with the Sky poured fuel to an already raging fire just when you thought the drama couldn't be any more intense. This is the tale of a player torn between her own fanfare and Caitlin Clark's indisputable star power. A story that is as much about identity, ambition, basketball, and the constant scrutiny of the limelight. Let's go back to last season, when Angel Reese, who had just won a national title with LSU, came charging into the WNBA with a grudge and a story to sell. She asserted that she was more than just a player, she was a phenomenon. Following LSU's triumph over Iowa in the NCAA championship game, Reese established herself as a key figure in the rise in popularity of women's basketball. She said that Caitlin Clark wasn't the only one responsible for the sports boom in attendance, which saw sold-out arenas and celebrity-filled sidelines. Her own star power played an equal part in the shared victory. It was a daring declaration that struck a chord with her passionately devoted following and solidified her reputation as a divisive character who flourished in the antagonistic role. However, this is where chaos begins. Reese's declaration was poised to clash with reality in a way that would leave her reeling for answers, since bold claims demand bold evidence. When the Chicago Skies held their press conference to begin the 2025 season, there was a lot of excitement in the air. Reese, a second-year forward, was expected to build on her rookie campaign, where her ability to rebound made headlines among a horde of fans. However, the atmosphere changed when a question pierced the room like a knife. Did she still think that her presence was the reason why people were watching women's basketball? The question wasn't mean. You will be left stunned by what transpired next, since it was a direct reference to her own comments and an opportunity to think or double down.
Last year, you made a powerful statement saying the reason people are watching women's basketball is not just because of one player, but because of you too. A year later, do you feel like you're
Next question.
Yeah, we'll move on.
With her own story hanging in the balance, Reese said two words that were more memorable than any highlight reel. The following query: the space froze. No defense. No statistics, there was no swagger, just a quick sidestep that made it clear how out of line her statements were with reality. This wasn't only an uncomfortable moment, rather, it was a rift in the carefully constructed facade she had built. But wait, this is where things take a startling turn. Reese is unable to ignore the narrative that the numbers, those harsh judges of reality, tell. A modest 8,000 people attended each Chicago Sky home game on average last season. Respectable, but not exactly in line with a cultural phenomena. Contrast that with the Indiana Fever, whose attendance attracted over 17,000 spectators to Gainbridge Fieldhouse night after night and made every game a sold-out spectacle thanks to Caitlin Clark. And it gets worse. Only 6,000 people showed up for Reese's much-anticipated preseason homecoming at LSU, when she should have been welcomed as a victorious hero. The stadium can accommodate over 13,000 people, thus it wasn't even half full for the return of a national champion. Stay tuned, because things get pretty intriguing in this next section. Even more telling were her previous preseason performances. Only 4,600 people showed up for a Chicago Sky home game versus the Minnesota Lynx, yet 7,600 people showed up for a road game in Minnesota. The most of them were probably come to support the home team. These are the numbers of a league that is still getting established, not the numbers of a player spearheading a revolution. But here she was. And here is the bit that no one anticipated. As Reese's games failed to draw crowds, Caitlin Clark was changing the WNBA's financial model. Clark didn't have to announce her influence. For her, the numbers did it. More quickly than you can say three-pointer, 15,000 seats were snapped up for her homecoming game at Iowa's Carver Hawkeye Arena, which sold out in 45 minutes. The average cost of tickets to her preseason games was more than $600. Yes, you read correctly. That's more than just a record for basketball exhibition games. The way the sport is viewed has drastically changed. In order to meet the demand, teams playing the Fever had to relocate their home games to bigger NBA arenas. A phenomenon that has never been witnessed by Ree or any other player in the history of the league, and the merchandise in 2024, Clark's jersey surpassed only Steph Curry as the second best-selling item in all of basketball, while Reese's didn't even make the top 10. The Fever has now, with tour-style t-shirts announcing that every game was a home game, Clark's You Know promotion elevated every game into a must-see event. The message was unambiguous. Clark was a movement rather than merely a player. However, what follows is just crazy. The Chicago Sky made a shocking announcement that rocked the basketball world as Reese was evading inquiries and struggling with poor attendance. New head coach Tyler Marsh declared a drastic change in the team's offensive approach that would radically change Reese's role. The paint-dominant, rebound-snatching forward who had established her reputation on double-doubles was no longer there. The Sky envisioned a stretch for a versatile player in her place who could spread the floor and take mid-range jumpers when stepping away from the hoop. And just when you thought things couldn't get any weirder, this new offense's focal point wasn't Ree. The Brazilian superstar Camila Cardoso was the new center of attention due to her size, grace, and unrealized potential. This was a total makeover, not a tweak, and the drama was only heightened by Reese's absence from training camp following the announcement. Let's be honest. Reese's domination in the paint has always been a part of who she is as a player. She grabbed rebounds with a fierceness that felt personal during her time at LSU and her debut season, scoring double-doubles that helped her become famous. Her viral 19-rebound performance against Indiana in her second professional game solidified her reputation as a formidable opponent. However, the new blueprint for the Sky requests that she give up the exact thing that made her famous. Mid-range jumpers, seize and attempt shots. For a player whose lifetime field goal percentage is a concerning 39.1%, this is unprecedented territory. Primarily on shoots close to the rim, she releases her shots slowly. Asking her to stretch the floor is like asking a sprinter to run a marathon because of her clumsy technique. You'll be astounded by the true cause of this. The Sky are preparing their team for a league that requires adaptability, not merely aiming to improve Reese's skill set. And this is the point at which everything goes totally wrong. Cardoso, whose gentler touch, superior spacing, and universal appeal make her a bankable star in the making, was given the keys to the painting that Reese had held while her character was being revised. The visuals are harsh. Cardoso was named the new cornerstone of the Sky just days after making waves by facing her national team. Fans went crazy on social media, claiming that the Sky is planning an effort to undermine Reese's reputation and support Cardoso. The move was allegedly a calculated attempt to end Reese's record-setting rebounding streak before it could define her WNBA career, according to conspiracy theories that arose. However, here's what they're not telling you. This is about basketball, not bias. The current WNBA requires forwards with the ability to move the ball, shoot, and create offense. Reese is vulnerable to defenses that block the paint and challenge her to shoot because of her one-dimensional game rebound putback repeat. There is a noticeable sense of tension, and Reese's silence says more than any press conference could. Her absence from training camp isn't merely a coincidence of her schedule. It's a declaration. The majority of top athletes would view a role change as an opportunity to improve their skills and dispel skeptics. You won't believe how it turns out, though, as Reese's response implies that she sees it as a betrayal and a theft of the persona she has worked so hard to create. Fans are becoming more vocal in their calls for her to demand a move. Angel, they don't deserve you. On X, one person wrote, "Leave Chicago." This type of drama thrives in social media echo chambers where indignation drowns out subtleties, but let's be brutally honest, Reese's inability to change could define her career more than any stat line ever will. In the meantime, Caitlin Clark keeps advancing the WNBA without mentioning herself once. Her games regularly attract over 1 million viewers. Her influence is so evident that the Fever have more nationally broadcast games this season than even the Los Angeles Lakers, and her jersey sales match NBA legends. Clark does more than simply fill arenas. In order to capitalize on her star power, teams upgrade facilities and increase marketing, forcing the league to reevaluate its infrastructure. The Fever's approach is a brilliant example of utilizing talent. They have established a lineup that is intended to win now rather than in 3 years by surrounding Clark with seasoned players like Sophie Cunningham and Natasha Howard. Cunningham's comparison of Clark to a younger, hotter, flashier, and more threatening Diana Taurasi highlights the type of star power that may be demonstrated without a press conference. And that's only a small portion of it. There is a sharp contrast between the Sky and the Fever. While Indiana has thrown their support behind Clark going from a lottery team to a must-see TV show in just 1 season, Chicago appears unsure of Reese's future. Is she just another player or the cornerstone of a marketing asset? The passive Sky method, the Fever's smart investment, contrasts sharply with their lack of aggressive attempts to surround Reese with complementary talent and its unclear concept for her part. Here's why this is important to you. There is more to this tale than just 2 players. It provides insight into how businesses use celebrity endorsements, strike a balance between publicity and outcomes, and how rapidly a story can change when the numbers don't add up. What will happen to Angel next? Does Reese take on the challenge, improve her skills, and demonstrate that she is more than just a rebounding machine, or does she play into the drama? She has the option to demand a trade and seek a new beginning somewhere, but the stakes couldn't be greater. This event will shape not only her career but also the larger discussion about WNBA player autonomy and development. And you'll see why this is so crucial at the end of it. All eyes will be on Reese and Clark as the Sky get ready to play the Fever on May 17, 2025, in a matchup that will be viewed as the Ollie Frazier of our generation. This is not only because of what they perform on the floor, but also because of what their careers indicate about the direction of women's basketball. Please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you liked this video.